Okay, everyone, Carolyn went to Waffle House this weekend for the first time, so we need to hear this story.
No, it's not the first time.
Oh, it's not the
I've
first. I've
gotten
never been to a Waffle House.
You're not
you
missing
know,
much.
exactly, but it is an experience.
Okay,
Like
what happened?
those on the East Coast know. Waffle House is just you never know what you're gonna get. You just
Ghetto
never
as
know.
shit.
But
It's
don't you
great.
always have to go at like 3 a.m.?
Yeah, this time it was like Sunday at 10:30,
Oh, so
and it
like
was
actually breakfast.
you still would have thought it was 2 in the morning though.
Oh, okay. What was so interesting? Did someone get arrested?
No, but there's always a good chance of that. But at the same time, no, it's totally fine. It was in a really small town in West Virginia, so there already isn't too much. But at least like next door there was like a McDonald's. So, but I love West Virginia. It's so much fun and it's really close. It was only like an hour 40 to get out there. So
Nice.
not terrible at all. So I'll probably go out again in like 2 months or next month actually.
There you go. Nice.
Well, it'll be fun.
Yep.
Amanda's in the throes of prep and
Mhm.
finally started to feel it this week. I saw in your snap, or not snap, your Instagram story.
Yeah, I'm a little bit better today, but I was like, man, I feel like a pile of ass. Oh my God, do you see this? I was like, I just feel rough, but
Mhm.
my brain is very small and prep only makes it feel smaller. So
Mhm. We can only handle so much during prep. And like, I feel like in a good way, like when you're in prep, you literally only handle what you can handle and everything else you just like can't. So like you have less of a chance to take on too much because you're just like, I need to have every single part of my day mapped out and like this is what I'm doing for today. And like that's the only way you can get through it.
yeah, no, exactly. It's just like Dan was pointing something out. He's like, "Oh, look at that car. It's a blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You didn't even look." I was like, "You're right, I didn't."
You're like, I just can't right now.
Yeah, I was just like,
It's too much energy to look.
I don't. Yeah,
No,
I didn't
it's
realize
okay.
it though. I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I was just like,
If
your brain just shuts off. It just doesn't register anything.
it makes you feel better, not even in prep, sometimes I just like agree with Tyler just to like, uh-huh. I'm like, I'm not even paying attention sometimes. And then he'll call me out for it too. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just wasn't paying attention. And like I just was agreeing and I should pay more attention. So it happens.
But also, why are you asking me complicated questions right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, you just have to do what you have to do, and that's the only energy that is available.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some people really thrive during prep and like I
Mhm.
can say like I'm one of those people just because like I like the routine and I like the consistency of everything. So like I will just go and like when prep's done though, I'm just like smashed for like a good solid like 2 weeks. And then I'm like, I need to just chill for a little bit. And then it's all fine. But I don't know. That's just it's how it's always been for me and I don't mind it, I guess. I kind of like the different change of pace, you know?
Yeah, agreed. Sorry, I'm chewing.
You're good. You're good. So this week we want to talk a little bit about like food relationships and food focus because like we're all starting in sort of like prep mini cut type phases now. Amanda's getting closer. I just started like I'm gonna call it a mock prep because I don't know if I'm competing yet. Carolyn's in her mini cut. So we've all been through parts of like where just food focus is really high. We've all really fucked up too with food. Had poor relationships at some point or another with ourselves, with food. So this is something that's really prevalent in bodybuilding and where a lot of people can like hide from when they actually have food disorders and things. So we just want to talk about it today and hopefully it helps someone there. So I guess where should we start with it? Like how
I think we should delineate eating disorders from
yes.
normal adaptations that occur when you restrict food to the extreme degree that we do for a prep.
Yep. I like it.
So just for people listening, I feel like our culture now, we like to diagnose everything. We like to label everything. Everyone's a narcissist. Everyone is gaslighting you, and everyone has some kind of diagnosis of some kind. There is a big difference between someone that has a clinical eating disorder and normal biologic adaptations that occur when you restrict food to an extreme degree, which we do for bodybuilding competitions. And I'm not talking about, not to be rude, but I'm not talking about people that kind of dieted for a show and still showed up pretty out of shape. There's a difference. There are levels to conditioning, and a lot of people diet kind of for a show, and they compete in this. And here's the thing: a lot of times when it's your first show, you don't know what to expect, and you're a beginner. Totally understandable. But being like really hangry is not the same as getting to the level of conditioning that the NPC and the IFBB require. That is a whole other level. So that's what I'm talking about in regards to this. Not you were kind of hungry for 4 to 6 weeks. That's not this.
Yeah.
Just to clarify. And the reason why I'm clarifying that is because people think they're hungry, and there are way more levels to what you think it is. Because I know people that have showed up 10, 15 pounds above what they should at shows. Like, oh my God, I was like, it's like, dude, no, there's like 3 other levels from where you're at. And that's fine, but there's a difference. So,
and I feel like people that, their first show going in, they might not get lean enough, but for them, what they can mentally handle at that time is just the deficit that they're in, because they can't go any lower because just mentally, because they don't know what to expect, therefore they can't stick to it. So you will come in a little bit softer than what you should have and where you could be possibly, but mentally you just can't handle it, which is fine. It's just you have more room to work on the next part.
Yeah, exactly. So
Curious to know also, like, what was the process to them getting to that point? Because say they already had a ton of cardio to do from the get-go, then what gas is going to be left by the time it's showtime? So it's not always like about the food, but it's also about, okay, how's the person doing overall between their sleep and their recovery and their training, and also leading up, to the final show day. So I'd be curious to see about that too. The horrible part is that, with all these things, is that we always have to say it depends.
Yeah, it always depends.
It does. And the other thing too, if you're I say this fully understanding what I'm saying, bodybuilding competitions are not for everybody. And you may have incredible shape and genetics. If you were put through a well thought out and well planned prep, meaning your coach didn't have you do stupid things, didn't diet you for a really short period, like didn't try to have you lose 40 pounds in 16 weeks or 12 weeks. You have a really great coach who had a really thought out plan. You had a timeline that made sense for your weight loss that was needed. If going through that just destroyed your relationship to food and it unraveled you, either one of two things: bodybuilding's not for you. And that's okay, but it should not unravel your life. Or two, maybe it's a couple more years of work that need to be done in order to get you to a place where it doesn't unravel you. Because to say that extreme dieting is not going to alter your relationship to food is a lie. It absolutely will. Sorry, my dog is gagging. I think he swallowed one of my socks.
Oh no.
I tried to get it from him. I don't even know where he got it from. I don't have just like socks lying around. And I think he swallowed it because now he's coughing. And that's usually what that means.
If you
Anyway,
need to take him outside really quick, you can.
Yeah, like,
so
you
I
know,
want him to throw it up. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to take him to the vet and have them induce vomiting. Anyway, sorry,
Anyways,
that's distracting me. I'm like, but yeah, it may not be for you. And I've come across people like this plenty of times where it's just not for them because it's destroying their life to a degree where they are now battling eating issues or disordered eating, which is different from having a clinical eating disorder.
yes.
And it's not because bodybuilding ruined your relationship with food. Look, everybody has weaknesses going into the sport, whether it is physique weaknesses or mental weaknesses. We all have both of them, and we all have obstacles to overcome. And not that it's a walk in the park for any of us, but there's a difference between like, oh man, like it's really brutal and tough and you got to battle it, but also being able to come out of it the other side with a reasonable plan that you can stick to on the back end to get you back to a good spot in your relationship with food. So, or someone that gains 30, 40 pounds in a month and can't get their mind right around food for a year or two afterwards.
Mhm.
That's a problem. And this sport will induce that because it's not normal to restrict your food to the degree that we do. It's not normal to diet to the low levels of body fat that we do. This is not getting a little bit of an ab outline on the beach. This is getting incredibly lean. And when you restrict food to that point, there are certain evolutionary mechanisms that go off in your brain to get your body to get food at any and all costs. It makes that your complete and utter top priority. If your body didn't do this, it wouldn't be working right.
Mhm.
If your body just allowed you to starve it down and didn't start screaming at you, your body wouldn't be working right. So you don't have a disordered, you don't have an eating disorder at that point because you're starving, dieting down. You're supposed to be. That's literally your body like, bitch, we're losing precious body fat. Your body is going to end up protect body fat over muscle tissue at all costs. That's what it needs to survive. It needs to be around the organs and it needs it for hormone production. So your body's working right when this happens. It's how you mentally are able to cope with it. That's the big thing here.
I think, we can start like going into a prep for one, like your mentality towards food. Like, do you look at food as like pleasure? Like, it's okay to find pleasure with food, but if you're somebody that looks to food for emotional comfort or emotional support when you're stressed out, when you're, something happens and you're like, oh my God, I just need to feel better. Like, that's a red flag. Like, you should not have issues like that. Food is fuel at this point. Like, you need to know what it is. And looking at the numbers too, that always freaks people out too, because the first thing that happens is when your food gets cut, first thing in your mind is like, oh my God, I have less food. And if you tell your brain that, then you're gonna feel hungrier, even though proportionately wise, like your food doesn't even really seem that much less. Like, taking out 200 calories is not that much in all reality, and you probably won't really feel it a ton right away. But because your mind sees that number go down, you're automatically like, oh, I'm in a deficit, or oh, food's getting cut, food is scarce, and creating a scarcity mindset. So you can't think of it that way. Think of it as this is a data point. You're doing a science experiment at this point for prep. That's all prep is. We manipulate variables and we see what the outcome is. And that is with your physique, your weight, muscularity. Like, that's the outcome. It doesn't matter what's on the paper. You just have to follow it. And that's kind of where you have to like flip the switch and become kind of a robot during prep of just, this is just what I have to do right now. I understand it's temporary and that I will have the donuts when it's time, when prep is done. And really, if you think about it, 5 to 6 months out of 1 year, out of your whole entire life is this much, like just a tiny little bit of time. So if you mentally can't fathom being like, oh my God, I have to eat this for 6 months, or like, I'm going to cut food for 6 months. Like, remember, this is a choice. Like, you get to choose to follow it. And I tell my clients this too, when they're really struggling, I'm like, you know, it was like, this was your choice. Like, you can choose to have a burger if you really want to, but that's only cheating yourself at that point. So it's mentally what can you handle going into prep, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I
Yeah.
think like, I give a lot of grace to people that have never been through a prep before, because they did choose it, yes, but they've also never experienced it before. So they're navigating feelings they've never had before, ever. And you would hope, you know, something that in this modern day and age, nobody really, if you're living in the United States, and you know, you have an income and you're able to support yourself, no one's ever experienced what it's like to actually starve. Um, and it's also weird because we are choosing it for funsies. But they've never felt these things before. So I don't expect them to just like sit down and shut up and have a full understanding and know exactly how to handle it. Why
Right,
would
right.
Right.
you know, that's why before someone goes into a prep, like I explain this, if I haven't scared you a little, I have not prepared you. You should be a little concerned. Like you
Yep.
should be really thinking about this. Like, and I don't know, some people may disagree with this. I don't care. What we're doing to your body is no fucking joke. It's not something that I'm just like, oh yeah, we're gonna like pull like 5 or 7 pounds off you to look cute in a bikini. This is impacting your health. This is impacting your hormones. You're likely going to lose your cycle for a few months. You are going to forever alter the way you look at food. You are going to be more physically exhausted. You're going to be pushed to a level that you've never been pushed before. Absolutely. You bet I'm going to scare probably the shit out of you before you start. Like, I don't want anyone to just be like, oh yeah, I'll just go in. My clients know, I've told you, like, you are going to be the hungriest you've ever imagined being. It's going to be like 1,000 times worse than that. And it may not. It also may not. Like, some people are not. There are some unicorns out there that, like, yeah, I'm a little hungry for like 4 weeks, but they're all right. For the most part, though, most of us feel like the thought of getting up off the couch makes you want to burst into tears. You're like, your joints are killing you. Like, just fathoming one more step on the step mill makes you want to pass out. I have passed out before. Not that you should be doing that, but I have other issues. Like I have blood sugar issues, but there's just, it's no joke if you're doing it right. You know what I mean? For most people, like I said, there are some people that can breeze through it a little bit. That's not the norm. That's the rarity. And you should be thinking very long and hard. This isn't just like a fun little bucket list thing to do. That is left for a different type of competition. This is not that. So they know that, like, until you feel these things, until you feel that gnawing hunger that wakes you up for weeks and maybe months on end, and then to the point where you get almost numb to it, you're going to feel that. And I know you have no idea what that means yet, but you will when you get there. Like, you're going to be like this, but at least mentally, they're going to be prepared. Like, okay, this shit's going to get rough.
Yep.
And that's okay. It shows you what you're made of, and it's an incredible challenge to overcome. And anyone can do it. If you put your mind to something, you can absolutely do it. And there's a lot that plays into this with perspective, mindset, view. That's a whole other conversation. But my goal is for anyone that's considering doing a show to not take this lightly, because it shouldn't be.
Carolyn,
And you can
when
have so much fun. Made it sound so dark. I was like, yeah, but
It is.
remember to have fun. Remember, I know it is, but it's also like, remember to have
It's,
fun and in being present
yeah.
in the process.
I was just
Because
gonna add, like, that's
yeah,
the funnest part for me is the challenge of like, okay, mentally, what can I overcome? Mentally, how much harder can I push myself? Mentally, what can I push myself through to like get there and like be better than the last time? You know, the training is easy. Like, anyone can go
yeah,
train, get that done. It's the when you're tired and when you feel like you can't do anything else, can you get up and do another rep? Can you get up and do cardio the next morning? No matter how many times you have to go out to family outings and stuff, and you can't have a burger from the grill, like, can you sit there and drink your Diet Coke and like be okay with that? you know, and eat your cold chicken and rice. And that is for me, the most like satisfying and like the funnest part of prepping is just the mindset part of it.
Yeah, because it's going to be the hardest thing that you'll ever have to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So choose your hard. That's what I always say, you know?
Yeah. No, and I hear what you're saying too. It's like I don't know. I think I've seen way more people come out of prep being like not better because of it because no one told them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, wee.
A lot of people see the contest pictures and they're like, oh my God, I want to get in shape like that, or like I lost a bunch of weight and I want to get on stage for that. And it's like, okay, that's great, but like, do you really know what you're getting yourself into? So either you don't know and you're not going to be in shape because it's just the discomfort is too much, or you don't know and then you do get in shape, but it just ruins you forever because you weren't warned about anything.
Yeah, because there's two parts to this. I can only speak for myself. I've only have my perspective. Um, everyone's experience with prep is going to be totally different. I would not say for me, prep is fun. I would say overcoming the obstacles in prep on the back end, looking back and seeing what I accomplished and pushing through those hard times, it's very fulfilling. Because I like doing hard stuff. Now I wouldn't use for myself. I would never use the word fun for it. Now, being on stage for me is fun. Training is fun. Being relentlessly hungry 24 hours is not, but I take fulfillment in overcoming that discomfort. So I would say for like myself, it's more fulfilling in that way. And being able to see the muscle I grew and see the improvements I made from the last time I got on stage, like it's fulfilling. And then there's legs of the journey. Like I don't have fun until stage day for me. That's just me. I know a lot of people that the actual prep for them, the whole thing is fun and they don't like stage day. Like they don't like getting a tan. They don't like, not being able to shower. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like the whole, like waiting around for the show and all of that stuff. Like the pose, they hate the posing. They enjoy the actual process more than the day. I cannot with any honesty say that for myself. Like it's because when I think of fun, I think of like pure joy, like just, like when I'm riding a roller coaster or something like that. That's how I define it for myself, but I take a lot of fulfillment in it. And that's just kind of my personality, and everyone's totally different. That's why I'm saying, like, I'm just speaking for myself. Like I have clients that have fun in prep. I love that for them. Absolutely. And our industry has created an entire sector devoted to repairing women after prep because they just weren't told what to expect. And that's why I tell them, like, this will be the hardest thing possibly, unless you're like a Navy SEAL, of course, the hardest thing you ever do. And it will be could be one of the most fulfilling things you ever do. And you will never be more proud of yourself than you will be on that day.
Yep. I agree.
Both.
Carolyn, where do you sit with that on that spectrum of like what Amanda described? Like, do you find prep fun or more fulfilling, or do you enjoy like show day?
It's the downfall of show day is that it goes by so quickly. And even though, yes, you do have the hurry up and waiting, I did not feel like it was prolonged in any sort of way. It just felt like everything was moving so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's the 10 months that led up to that. It was like anticipating. That felt longer to me than the actual show day. And I was like, whoa, the whole day is just done. Like I'm back in my hotel room at 8 p.m. And I was like, oh wow, that was awesome. And then I was like, okay, what do I have to do now to improve for the next show and going back into that. And then it just feels fast. I think it's more so it's the prep leading up to the first show that feels very long and can be very hard because you have to be so patient, especially when there was no timeline to it. It was all about the look. And then once, the first show was done, I was like, great, fantastic. Now I feel like everything is as it should be. And I can continue and checking off the list of the things that I want to accomplish and then close it out. So I would say, in the process, my version of fun is seeing change because most of my life I've never seen positive change in my life. And that was the first time I ever felt something that I was actually, all my hard work was actually being revealed because all the things, whether it was horseback riding competitions or school and education, you don't visually see your own success. And that was the first time I've actually seen something that I created be visually attainable. And because I only saw imaginary, like my vision of like what I wanted to be. And that was the first time that ever happened for me. So that's why I view competing as fun, is because I get to see the results of my work. So, but obviously, there are a lot of health. It's not the healthiest sport. I would say it's the least healthiest sport out there. But then there is a lot that you can learn about yourself for the right person. You don't have to do, the hardest thing in your life is a competition prep. We're not saying that. And we're not saying that you're not going to learn anything about yourself unless you do a prep. It's just one thing that we have found about ourselves that we learn a lot more by doing that we don't think our individual lives would have been changed as drastically as it has been unless we had prepped. So.
Yeah. And I think what's the hardest thing, I mean, like physically, you know what I mean? Like one of the for most people, that it is the hardest thing they'll ever do physically. You know what I mean? Aside from like maybe an incredibly challenging pregnancy, of course, or I'm not talking about people that like battle illnesses and stuff like that. I mean, like your average person is healthy, you know what I mean? Like, of course, I'm not comparing this to like battling something incredibly devastating health-wise. I just mean like for your normal everyday person that's got good health, like this will be the hardest physical challenge they've ever gone through up to that point.
I think that's a good way to put it because like bodybuilding is a privilege. So if you're able to do this and choose to do it, like, and how am I going to say this? Like, think about it as if like this is the hardest thing you choose to do, right? Going through something like this, when there's people out there who don't even have a home, can't even get up to go, can't get out of their wheelchair to go train or something, things like that. Like, so just remember that during prep, like when you're having a hard day, like remember that you're able to do all these things. You don't have to do anything. You just get to do this. And that in my mind is like the thing that keeps you going, of being like, I'm going to improve, like what Carolyn said. I get to improve every single day. I tell myself all the time, 1% better every single day. Like, and that's going to add up over time. And, we all have bad days. We all have days where we just don't want to be there. We've all skipped things. We've all messed up on our diet. We've all done all of that. But like, the thing is you get to keep improving over and over again. Like, we've all been doing this for years too. Like, and I'm assuming for both of you too, also, like you look at yourself now and you're like, I never would have thought I would have gotten where I am now and like made my physique look like this. I mean, I know I do. And I'm just like every day I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. And like you still get to improve upon that. And that's what keeps me driving forward with it and dealing with all the negatives and stuff. Cause there's negatives to everything you choose in life. It just is what it is. But I really feel like bodybuilding has shaped my life and me as a person in a really positive way. Like I've gone through negative parts of it, of course, with food focus, like being overly obsessive about food or training, or I have to follow my program. And learning to find some sort of balance for myself. But I feel like, that's how you are in this long term, is just make it a healthy habit and learn when to have that balance and things. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And just, I mean, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Carolyn.
No, disagree.
Oh, I think it might be good too, to people to understand, like, as like all three of us have very different views on this. Just like Carolyn was like, man, that's dark. She's right. But I am like, bodybuilding and the process is going to mean something different to everybody. And that's the beauty of it. Like, it gets to be your experience. It gets to be unique to you. All of the, I guess, like, quote unquote negatives or around bodybuilding. So like, you know, the hard parts of dieting and the sacrifice and the saying no to things. That's why I like it. I don't like things that are easy. I don't like things that just anyone could do. Not that that's why I like it, not like, oh, no one else can do it. That's not the case. Like, thousands and thousands of people do bodybuilding, but I like it because it's hard. Like, Carolyn and I grew up riding horses, and like riding horses very competitively, incredibly hard. You know what I mean? Very different types of hard, obviously. But that's why I like bodybuilding. Like, I like it because of how challenging it is to me. I love that there's been like there's been a couple times where I'm just like at the edge of my willpower. And I'm like, I don't know that I can do this one more day. I don't know that I can put one more foot in front of the other on this treadmill, on this stair mill. And somehow you just are like, you pull something from somewhere and you make it happen. Or you're like, I don't know that I can feel this like gnawing hunger for one more minute. Like, I can't do this. And then you just find a way to do it. And that's why I like it. Like, I like it because for me, it is dark, but that's just my personality. That's who I am. There's a lot of things that, you know, we all have our own story and history. And that's why I like it. Like, that's just tend to how I look at things, and things that hurt a little bit, I like. And for me, that's why I use the word like fulfilling, because that's what I get from it. And there's like small blips of fun. Like when you hit a PR on training, hell yeah. One of the most fun moments you can have when you nail your routine on stage and you have the tan and the glam and the suit and it's all together, even though it's 10, 15 seconds. To me, that's like blissful fun. That's when I'm like, you have that adrenaline rush and the happy butterflies and you're just excited. Like, that's what happens to me on stage. I know some people they're like, just get me on and off of here. I don't want to be in front of a crowd, and everyone experiences like on stage different. But I have these like blips of fun. They're just very few, but they're so intense for me that it's worth all the time in between. It is, like, for me, it is like those 10, 15 seconds are worth the 6, 7, 8 months of the relentless hard work. It is like, because there's no other high quite like it than getting on that stage and knowing that you did everything humanly possible to bring your best, and all the hours, the sweat, yes, tears sometimes when you're just like so tired.
Definitely tears.
When you just start crying and you're just like finding what you're truly made of in that moment, and then going back the next time and even pushing to a level further. Looking back on that, that's kind of a fun thing for me. Even if in the moment I'm like, fuck this, but still doing it anyway with every ounce of energy I have. But that's just how I experience bodybuilding.
I think that was a really good way to put it, because yeah, like those intense moments you have of just like I know sometimes during prep, especially like when it's getting closer, and especially during like 2021 when I got my pro card, like that prep was like my favorite prep ever. It's my longest prep, but like I just had like moments of like just feeling so grateful and fulfilled of like what I get to do all the time, and just like the passion that you have for it is just like, it just overflows, and it's like so cool. And like that, I still think about like my winning my pro card and stuff, and like I know that season, like specifically, I can say like I worked so hard for that. And at USA's my 4th show pre-judging, when we finished that set, it was like 5 minutes long, and like I was put into center at the beginning of it, and like from the start I was like, don't move me out of center, don't move me out of center, don't move me out. And they called, okay ladies, thank you can head off stage. And I turned around and I started bawling, like before we even got off stage, because I just knew. And that was probably one of the coolest moments ever. And just that satisfaction of like what Amanda said, of leading up all these months, not even of prep, but years of training, consistency, eating all the foods, overcoming everything, like sacrifices, you know, saying no to things, like it all paid off for that. And like that feeling is so, so cool. So when you get there, like show day is awesome. Like whether you like being on stage or not, it goes, all of that work goes into one day for like 5 minutes. And it's kind of sad to say that, but at the same time, it's only 5 minutes. So you have to make it count. And that's why it's so important. So it's, yeah, if you can overcome those things, like it's just, it's so fulfilling and it's such a good thing to do, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you have
Couldn't
those
agree.
feelings, Carolyn?
It's I can't really say after only one prep.
I was gonna say, like, you know, after one show, like obviously it's like your first show and like it's hard to compare, you know. So hopefully the next time you'll be able to one, have an even better prep. That's always the goal, right?
Yeah.
And just have a better showing overall, which you will, obviously. Like the goal is to improve and stuff. So yeah, I hope everyone gets there. I hope everyone has a good show day experience. I know I've heard of some people who just don't. Um, I've known people that blame bodybuilding for all of their problems with food and hate it and then badmouth it, and it's really sad, unfortunately. So it just is what it is. But how about during prep? How do you guys deal with hunger? What do you do differently? Um, let's start with that.
Do not try to hack the system.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Thank
say,
you.
don't try to handle it.
Yeah.
Literally, don't try to handle it. Like, there's obviously little things you can do. Like, you know, for example, like for me, I would probably rather have a little bit bigger portion of vegetables than have like one rice cake. You know what I mean? If I'm looking at partitioning my carbs,
Yep.
I'm gonna look for some like, you know, look for more volume dense things. And those are small things you can do that are totally fine, but do not try to create some crazy macro friendly concoction that's filled with a bunch of horse shit. Nothing that you can do is going to satiate you at that, once you're at that point, you know what I mean? Like obviously in the beginning or the middle, maybe if you like your fiber is too low and you increase your fiber and add some veggies in, you feel a lot better. Totally. But if you're at that point where your body's lean enough, there's no feeling satisfied with food. Don't bother. Don't try. Just swan dive into the suck.
Mhm.
Once you just
Embrace
accept,
the suck.
once you just accept it and you own it, you're like, I'm about to be hungry for a minute and a half, maybe longer, depending on the person, but I'm about to be hungry. I'm just going to be hungry. And if you
Mhm.
try to find all these ways around it, that actually contributes to the food relationship getting worse. I think
Yep.
if you're just like, this is what it is, I'm going to have an extra diet soda today. I'm going to make sure that I'm eating enough fiber, have as, you know, voluminous of foods as I can while still being nutrient conscious, of course. Like you don't want to just eat like a bunch of whipped egg whites that's going to make you sick. You know what I mean? Like nutrition conscious. Um, just accept that that's part of it. There's no getting around it. There's no making it easier at that point. And just know it's temporary. It is temporary. You will eat once again. It's just however long you're in the prep for. And it's all going to be good. You're going to be totally, totally fine. And to just not let that panic that you feel coming on, which is your body signaling to you, eat bitch, because your body doesn't know like, oh, we're just doing this for a bodybuilding show. Like, don't worry, it'll be fine in like 8 weeks. Like your body doesn't know that. It just knows that she or he is starving. And it's just trying to drive you to eat. It's going to wake you up in the middle of the night to eat. It's going to interrupt everything. It's going to overpower every other sense you have, to the point where listening to conversations is hard. Focusing is hard, because that's the number one thing your brain is wanting you to do to keep you alive. Your body's supposed to do this. You just have to, and you'll get better and better at it with every prep. You'll get better and better with distracting yourself, keeping busy. The worst thing you can do is sit still. Because then you
Yep.
just think about it more. Like I reorganize every closet like 16 times. I reorganize every drawer. I like just keep myself, I go for walks. Like I just keep myself busy. And that's really the best thing you can do, in my opinion.
Okay, looping it back to nutrition. So I had a funny story. There was a friend of mine, his wife well, it's a mutual friend. So his wife would end up making these glass trays of Jello, and he would just sit there eating the Jello. Please do not do that, because imagine the amount of artificial sweeteners and bloat that you're just consuming, this glass container of Jello. Please do not do. I heard that story this weekend and was like, nope, do not be that person, please. And that's what we mean by trying to hack the system. But like Amanda's point, having that option of, swapping a rice cake for more vegetables, that's going to be a lot more satisfying than that rice cake. So
Yeah. It's like, do I drink an extra 2 diet sodas a day on prep? Sure fucking do. And I just allow myself to do it. And some people may be like, that's horrible. That's fine. It doesn't bother my stomach in the least. I have no issue with aspartame or whatever, they put in there. Not whatever, they put aspartame in there. I have no issues with my gut on aspartame. So even sometimes like sucralose, like Splenda can irritate me. Diet soda, no problema. So that is my thing. I allow myself to a point, like I'm allowing myself this many cans, like, 3 cans a day, or like a large 7-Eleven of Coke Zero a day, whatever it is I've decided I'm doing. And that's what I do. That's like the most thing that I'll do. And like Carolyn, reiterated, like just making sure you're giving yourself as much volume as you can while being reasonable. You don't want to eat like a salad bowl this big, full with just vegetables and have no carbs for the day. Like, that's what I mean. It's just like, if you have a choice between one rice cake and a nice veggie stir fry, you're probably going to want the veggie stir fry instead, just because it's more volume. But yeah, just accept it and just swim in it, to be honest.
I've definitely been there where I've accidentally on purpose had too many vegetables, and the next day my tummy did not feel good. So don't do too many. So when you have vegetables, if you have a little bit of extra, that's fine. But to make it more voluminous, but don't overdo it. And same thing with things like xanthan gum. Like a lot of people will add that to like a lot of their meals to make them more voluminous. But guess what? It also makes your stomach more voluminous. So you'll end up bloating. So things like that, watch out for artificial sweeteners. Some people, like Amanda mentioned, doesn't bother her at all. It usually doesn't bother me. Like I can keep in sodas, like diet sodas or like carbonated beverages that are artificially sweetened for a while. Now, and this might be dependent on person, coach, division also, but like coming into like peak week, even like 10 days out, I will cut out powders, I'll cut out carbonated things, like all of that. I will cut out everything just because I just want the least amount possible, because I've always had an issue with like keeping my waist tight. And part of that was due to powerlifting and not learning how to brace properly, but also I just want zero chance of bloating or anything like that happening. So just be really conscious of like the things you're eating and like how it makes you feel. Watch salt intake too. That can cause water retention too for you. So like we said, there's no like hacks to anything. It's just sit in the suck and just feel it. Keep yourself busy. Like, and most of the time your step count's higher towards the end of prep, cardio's higher. So like go outside, go for a walk, go keep yourself busy, stay out of the house if you're especially home by yourself and just like don't want to have things in your cupboard. I've heard of people even waking up in the middle of the night eating peanut butter that they don't remember. So keep those things just out if you just can't handle it. So, but also don't be like such a hermit that on prep you can't go and do anything at all. Like it shouldn't deter you so much from being a normal person and doing normal things, but don't obviously stay out super late on the weekends or anything like that. And at a point you got to kind of cut it and be like, okay, I'm like 6 weeks out, like I'm starting to feel it, like I can't keep doing all this stuff, and it is okay to say no to those things also. So just my 2 cents there. But how about post show? Post show is
Oh boy.
probably the hardest, even more so than prep, because now you don't have the show in front of you. to hold you accountable to your goals. And most people are just ravenously hungry. I know all three of us have been there, and that's usually where people fuck up. So you can go in with the best intentions of like, I'm gonna nail this reverse diet, I'm gonna do it so perfectly. But especially if you're a new competitor, I would say don't go at it with that, because when you mess up, you're really going to be hard on yourself, and that just almost makes it worse. So, yeah, I guess where should we start
Yeah.
with OSHA? That can be so complicated.
I have my, is it okay if I go ahead and answer? Sorry, Caroline, I
Yeah,
don't
go
want to
for it.
here.
No, go ahead.
No,
You
you're
already started.
good.
Yeah.
So I have what I do for myself. Okay, let me start over. I'm thinking this through. I'm trying to be very intentional about like thinking through my answers. It depends on the person. It
Yes.
really does. And to be clear, before I answer this, no one's given a free for all. Obviously, that's not going to be healthy at all. And at the same time, no one is kept on a super restrictive, like modified prep style diet. So by the time I've had a client go through a prep, I've been with them for a while, and I kind of have an idea as to their mind and what they can and can't handle. So usually if they're the kind of person that they're like, whatever you say I'm going to do, I'm going to increase food substantially after the show. And when I say substantially, I don't mean doubling their calories. We're not getting insane here, but not by 20 carbs, right? Like not by 80 calories. So it's going to be substantial enough that it's going to be a noticeable food increase for them. They're going to feel like, oh, like it's going to feel like a relief. Like I get all this food now, even though their calories are still lower than what they're going to end up being for once we get to their final calorie amount, like for their off season, where they're kind of cruising for a bit there. But I'm going to increase calories so that it feels to them substantial. And I'm going to have, so I'm going to do that. Cardio is going to be lowered significantly, like very significantly, because especially the first couple of weeks, I'm trying to pull off inflammation. And it's going to take probably a week to get that to come down, depending on how the prep went and how all that went. So if it's somebody, that's for somebody that I feel like they're pretty on it. They might not be 100% perfect, but I don't have concerns of them like totally blowing things out of the water. If it is somebody on the other side who either due to maybe they had a previous prep with another coach told me that they totally blew their reverse, and that was the hardest part for them, and there's a lot of fear surrounding it, I'm going to have a completely different plan for them. And I'm probably going to check in with them every day for 2 weeks after the show. Food wise, they're still going to get a significant increase in food again, but I'm probably going to have their meals laid out a little bit differently. I'm going to have a lot more variety in there. I'm going to have quote unquote more fun things in there. And I put it in quotes because it's still very health conscious, but a little bit more of that mental reprieve so they don't still feel restricted as much. It's still going to be to a degree restrictive. And I'm going to have them check in with me just really quick every day at a certain time to let me know how they're doing. And we can talk through. And because I feel like the first 2 weeks are the worst. And it's still hard after that, but those are the worst. And we'll kind of, if they'd still need to, if the check-ins help them every day and they just want to shoot me a text and they're like, I nailed it today. It's just an added layer of accountability, and it gives them something to kind of focus on. And they know I'm there for support if they are really struggling. Because what I'll do is if they're like, I'm about to lose my mind, I'm starving, I want to order a large pizza, I can't do this, I will give them an extra meal. Or I'll be like, okay, I want you to go eat a bowl of berries. I want you to drizzle almond butter on it. And I want you to go get a Core Power protein shake. So are they still eating in a surplus a little bit at this point? Likely. Are they going to gain 6 pounds from eating a bowl of berries and a Core Power? Absolutely not. But they don't feel like they have to just sit there and starve. I would rather them eat a little bit more with nutrition and communicate with me so that one, they don't feel guilt and shame about it, which just makes the feeling worse and makes them want to eat more. They don't feel it's not taboo anymore, which also makes the feeling more like, it's like when you know you can't, you want it more. And I'm very direct with my language around that. I'm like, you can go, I was like, do you want to go eat a large pizza? Because you can, like, you're an adult who pays your taxes. Like, you can do whatever you want. What? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, let's go eat this instead. How does that sound? Taking the taboo out of it. Then you can't, you have to do this. Like, that's just going to drive the brain towards it more. So it's more communication and more, I guess, kind of moderating things on my end. But if that's going to result in a much happier client experience, one, and a better relationship with food so that we can just get right into our building phase as soon as possible, I would so much prefer that. And I spend a little bit of extra time every day just checking in on them. Now, if they choose to go off, if I do all of that, I can't control them, you know? And if they're going to still, with all of that, choose to go and completely blow the reverse, they were going to do that anyway.
And some people do. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but some people do. And that's fine. You have to be okay with that. And just know, like, if you're going to have more food, you're probably going to put on more body fat a lot quicker. But I really like that approach. And like, I'll kind of do something similar. I haven't checked in with people every day, but now that you say that, I think I'm going to start doing that because I really like just a quick little, like, how's it going? How are you feeling today? You know, and then you take away the whole like can't versus can have kind of scenario. And then because we all want what we can't have, right? And all of prep, you've been depriving yourself of all these things, and like we miss things as simple as like toast, right? So it's just like adding those little things back in. So I like to ask them too, like, what's something you've really missed during prep? And it's usually something really simple, like I just really want some avocado toast or something. And I'm like, cool, let's add that into your breakfast, you know, and I'll kind of try to switch things around like that. And I'll do the same as Amanda, like significantly increase food quite a bit to just curb that hunger craving. But no matter what, and I always tell my clients this, you're still going to be hungry no matter what. Like it's just going to be like that for a few weeks, you know, and especially the first time coming out of prep too. Like I had a few girls and it took each of them about 6-ish weeks total to like have like no feelings of like actual hunger. So
Yeah.
it took a little bit. But you know, I've also had people where I've tried to guide them and be like, if you're hungry, have this, you know, but they go have like a bunch of cookies and crumble and stuff like that. And it's like, that's where you go wrong because you start eating all these highly palatable foods like that. And it just drives that hunger signaling even more so than like eating a bowl of fruit and maybe some dark chocolate, you know, stuff like that. So being aware of just that and just knowing you're still going to be hungry, even though you have plenty of food, it's just your body being like in a survival mode of like, oh, we're getting food now. We want more of it and more of it. Cause like you'll eat to the point where like you'll either feel sick or make yourself sick. And it's just your brain is still like, I want more. But your stomach is just like, I can't take anymore because it's a lot smaller than what it used to be too. Like your stomach will shrink during prep. And so we could go into a whole topic of that of like what to watch out for after the show. But yeah, just follow that and like just communicate with your coach essentially and make sure that when you pick a coach, ask them about reverse dieting in their process because I've seen so many people that have come to me and like, yeah, my coach just didn't even give me anything. They just said follow the diet and like work my carbs up 10 to 20 a week. And I was like, that's it? I'm like, that's terrible. So it's just I just feel really bad for when people have experiences like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of this too, it's tough because a lot of this is framed mentally for people. Because I think a lot of people think just based on the language that they use post show, because it feels like this, you feel out of control. Like you feel like you can't control what you put in your mouth. And they'll say like, they'll use the words like, oh, I accidentally, or I couldn't stop. It leaves them completely powerless. So what I like to do is get ahead of this right away. And I'm having this reverse, you know, whatever you want to call it, after show. Right? Yeah, whatever you want, just like getting your calories. The post show phase. I'm having these conversations with them. And also letting them know that if they completely fuck it up, it's okay. Like, I'm not mad at you. I will never be mad or disappointed in anybody unless they quit on themselves or cheat themselves or lie. So if you don't do any of those things, I will never abandon you. I will never treat you like a child. I will never be angry or disappointed. None of that, because you made a human mistake after going through something you've never been through before, and you're letting me know about it. Ever. I'll be like, hey girl, guy, it's okay. You're okay. You didn't kill anybody. You didn't run over a dog. You ate a whole large pizza last night. It's done. It's all good, dude. What are we going to do today? What's our plan? We're not going to do a bunch of cardio to try to compensate, because you cannot compensate. You'll be on that stair mill for 14 hours and that's not okay. We're just let's have a plan going forward. And if that starts to come up, then I create a plan with that client that works. Whatever suits their lifestyle, their needs, with whatever's going on. And we as a team are going to handle this together. And sometimes that means a lot more communication. And I give them direct things to follow. Like I have them text me, like the daily check-in, text me at 4 p.m. every single day for 14 days. I'm asking you to do that one thing. And I want you to tell me 2 things: where you're at mentally for the day, and have you veered from your adherence? Like, have you gone off your plan for the day at all yet? And if you have, what's your plan now? What are we going to do together to address it? And that's all there is. Like, I have so many people that have been like, I felt like I disappointed you. I felt so bad. I'm like, you will never, unless you, like I said, quit on yourself, cheat or lie, you will never, that will never happen. I'm here to be your coach and to help you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to criticize you. You're a human being, not a robot. It's okay. The scale's up 10 pounds. It's okay. It's body fat. We can get rid of it later. It's not a big deal. It's fine. And I just try to really remove the panic and the shame and the body dysmorphia. Like, I'm talking them through, like, dude, I want you to take a breath. It's all going to be all right. And then I'm like, do you trust me? And if I've never had someone say no, but I'm asking them, I'll be like, genuinely, I want an honest answer. Do you trust me? Say yes, hopefully. I've never had a no yet. And then I'm like, I promise if you do exactly what I'm asking you to do, I'm going to get you through this and you're going to be okay. I promise. And if you're not perfect, that's also okay. Just tell me right away and we'll figure it out. I need your absolute effort here. Just get through these next few weeks with me. It's going to be all right. And it just is like, I can hear the sigh of relief in that conversation, because I think people just feel like they're alone. All their friends and family want to see them eat. So they're taking them out. They're bringing them treats at work and at school and all the places. And then I even walk them through how to have those conversations before, like telling friends and family before the shows even happened. I know you guys are just so excited to see me eat. I know you guys have watched me grind it out for months, and I love you so much for wanting that for me. Would you mind waiting until I give you the green light until you start bringing me food? Because there's still a whole other phase to this after the show. And I want to be as healthy as I can mentally and physically. Can you guys wait for me to give you the green light before you bring me anything? And just get ahead of all of that. And then just say, like, let's just not bring up food for a bit. Just give me a minute here. And when you communicate with people in their life like that, it's rare that someone's like, oh, no, I'm bringing you this donut. They're like, yeah, they just don't know.
Yeah, everyone wants to, because for a lot of people that don't compete, they look at it as like, oh, Kayla can eat normal again after this is all done. And I've literally had people tell me that, like when I first started competing, they're like, so when can you eat normal again? And I'm like, well, this is normal for me, but at the same time, they want to give you treats because they're like, oh my God, you can eat again. Like, to them, especially like parents, or significant others, they're like, oh my God, they've just been starving themselves. They need to eat something. Like, how in the world could they ever do this? They're just dumbfounded by like who would voluntarily do something like this. So they really want to do that for you. And like, that's just as human beings, our social nature is centered around food. So it's like, don't also, I've done this before, don't plan a vacation right afterwards. Give it a few weeks. I literally went on a cruise the day after my first show.
I went to Hawaii once. Terrible idea. Don't do
Yep,
that.
don't do that. I
I
went on a
had
cruise.
every pina colada on the island. All of them. All the every white chocolate macadamia cookie in existence, because that's like the macadamia nuts over there, everything. Guys,
Mm,
I lost count how many I
mhm,
ate.
mhm. So don't do that. That's a really, really bad idea. Setting yourself up for failure for sure. And we'll go through stories at the end here too of like when we fucked up because we're normal people too and we don't do anything perfect. Um,
Totally.
and just knowing like what Amanda said, I'm gonna reiterate. Like I tell my clients, like I'm never gonna judge you for anything. Like I've been in your shoes, I've messed up too, and they really want to you know, I know for myself to make your coach proud and be like, they're, and they've told me too, like, you're going to be so disappointed in me. And like, I'm representing you as a coach too. And it's like, dude, like, it's fine. I'd rather you communicate with me and talk about it when you're struggling than try to be perfect because nobody's perfect. And I'm here to help you and work through that. Like, if I expected you to be perfect, like, why are you with me? Why are you asking me for help? So that's kind of how I go through it. And like, find friends too, especially that's the other thing that I will say is the people around you, you know, if like I've had a lot of scenarios with clients and myself where people are like, well, you're never any fun anymore. You don't do this, you don't come out anymore, blah, blah, blah. But if that's just not your thing, like, why are you hanging out with those people if that's all what they're pushing you to do and like think you're only fun when you're out or you're drinking or something like that? Like that's not the way to live. If you don't enjoy it, if you're only doing it just to make others happy, just get rid of it. Find other friends that are in bodybuilding that are in the same community as you. Especially when you go to shows, you meet a lot of people. And I mean, that's how we all met was through bodybuilding, and we all live in different states. So it's cool to have this community and just find the support you need because it can be really hard and it can be really difficult to navigate, but it is doable. And like we said, you probably will mess up at some point. It's okay. Just get back to it and stuff. And like Amanda said too, body fat can get rid of again. As long as you just don't completely fall off the rails and just give up, basically, you'll be fine. Anything to add to that, Carolyn?
No, you guys are going back and forth. So what do I even add to that? Anyway,
Your
but what?
your experience.
Yeah. What's your experience with it?
Well, I mean, the thing is that with post show, like you said about vacations, is to ensure you are setting yourself up for the prep after the prep. Because oftentimes, we think, okay, great, it's a good time to have more food, to become more socialized, but your body is still in a very sensitive place. And your mind is in a very sensitive place too. Because, like Kayla's client, she didn't feel like she returned back to normal until about 6 weeks. And I would say that was about the same for me. So I actually had a really good post show experience. It wasn't until like half a year later, 6, 8 months later that, things went downhill. But for post show, exactly, I'm glad I didn't start because it was the holiday season, which also, if you can avoid prepping in the fall and winter, please do because it is the worst. And you have Thanksgiving, you have holiday parties, and you have Christmas. But I honestly looked at it as a challenge. I was like, cool, I have these free meals. I'm going to ensure that I only have one free meal per week and stick to my plan as much as I can. And then even like ordering from, those gourmet bakeries, like that wasn't until deep into the holiday season. And that was always going to be enjoyed with other people. So I actually had a really good post-show experience considering, all the challenges that were in front of me with the holidays and events and socializing and traveling. Um, But other than that, I would say, just be very clear and transparent with your coach on how you're feeling. Because they want to be able to be there for you to adjust the plan so that you can meet it. Because if they're not adjusting the plan and you're just not coming through every single week, then that's when you need to consider, taking things into your own hands and seeking guidance elsewhere. Because it's not until like you continually, not meet the mark like months on end, and you're only setting yourself up for failure. And at that point, it's like, okay, what are you doing this for?
Right. Like if your coach just continually tells you like, okay, let's just get back on track this week. Oh, you messed up. It's okay. Just get back on track. But like you just cannot. Your coach needs to do something different. Like obviously already, I just need to get back on track. But like sometimes you just cannot do it. So you need to find a different approach to that and what's going to stick and what's going to work, and yeah, like to Carolyn's point too about the holidays, like up to you, some people have that really, really special time with their family and stuff. I've done preps through the holidays and not eaten Christmas dinner and it's been fine. Would I prefer to? Yeah. But I also just look at it as like, I'll have it next year. Like it'll be there next year. We're gonna have another Christmas, another Thanksgiving. But for you, Carolyn, it was kind of sprung on you like the week of Thanksgiving though, wasn't it? So you didn't even really have time to like mentally prepare of like, oh, I'm starting prep now.
No, my show was Halloween weekend, the first show.
The first show. I meant the second time going into prep when you started prep.
Oh, when I started prep, it was the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. So you like didn't really have time to like mentally like shift gears into like, oh, I'm starting prep now. It was just kind of like, okay, we can start.
Yeah. And I will say, at least I was given the chance to enjoy my holidays. So we wanted to start it early because I wanted to give myself more than enough time, because knowing the holidays was coming around the corner and I was going to enjoy those days, like the major holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. But then, yes, you're on prep the rest of the time and then continuing on through the new year and then into the spring shows. So I still would have done that route, because I knew that I wanted to have more time the better because of the last prep being 10 months long. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, if I'm having now a normal 20-week prep, okay, cool. Yeah, let's start in November. But I'm not taking Christmas away. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. Right. And that is a good point too. Communicating with your coach, saying like, we can start prep early because I want to do an early show this year, but we should start extra early so that because I still want to enjoy a holiday meal of some sort and work that into your plan. So just communication is really big too.
Yeah. And just before, Caroline, I don't think you heard this part, or not heard this part. I was talking to Kayla. I have to hop off like right at 5:45. So I'm just gonna say one more little thing and then I'll leave you guys
Go
to
for it.
finish the cast out without me. Also too, anybody listening to this, don't panic. You don't have to overthink the shit out of this either. You know what I mean? Just have a really good plan. And if the plan needs to be adjusted because things come up or whatever, that's what the coach is there for. Talk to your coach about this because some coaches are incredible at the X's and O's, and the mental side of reversing out of a prep might not be their strong suit. Doesn't mean they're a bad coach at all. It just means that's not really one of their strengths. Some people are incredible at this and can't get people to look their best on stage quite as well as some others. So every coach has their skill set. Just have a plan. And if you know that, this is something that's a real battle for you, just maybe have someone that you kind of work with on the mental side of things on the back end of the prep. If your coach is like, that even says like, hey, like, I can be a little bit of, support and motivation, but that's not something where I'm like, spending all that extra time talking through all of that. Totally fine. And maybe that's just not the right fit for you, or maybe you need a supplemental, person to talk to on the back end of it. But
Even
also,
if it's just a friend,
huh?
even if it's just a friend that's
Well,
been through it.
sometimes friends have shitty advice.
And that's why I said that's been through it. That's not just like yeah, just do whatever you want,
Yeah,
I'm
or
not a
someone
yes
that's
person.
like telling you to eat a bunch of voluminous garbage. It's more so like, you know what I mean? Because I think there are people that in our industry that are actually really good. Like they're counselors and their competitors, so they can really help with that. I'm just throwing out options. You don't have to get all these people. I'm just saying, you know, some coaches, it's just not their wheelhouse. Just have a plan. Make sure that you have grace for yourself. And also just don't go into it freaking out. Like, it's going to be all right. Whatever happens, it's going to be all right. You know what I mean? Just know that everything's a choice. You're not out of control. No one's holding a gun to your head. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm saying that to give you power. You have a choice. Like, you're putting the food in your mouth or not. So even though you feel powerless, you are not. That is a construct in your mind. Even if it's like the last little speck of willpower you have, it lives there. You can choose something else. So just own whatever choice you make. If you eat a pizza, own it. If you stay on your diet, own it. Either way, and then have a plan. And with
Yep.
that, I love you guys.
Bye. We love you.
Bye.
That
Actually, I
was
think that's a good.
great piece of advice. The only thing I was going to end with was if we had stories of ourselves in post show or during prep mess ups, because I definitely have a few that I can share. So I can share.
No, we
some.
can leave that for the next episode.
Leave it for the next one. Okay,
Yeah.
you ready to hop off then?
Oh yeah, it's late for me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It is. We gotta let Carolyn go to bed. So we
All
will
right.
be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and we have a guest coming on at the end of this month. So that'll be really exciting. We're not going to reveal it yet, but we're going to talk about an awesome topic there. And we'll see you guys next time. So thanks for listening. Of course, always support our podcast, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all the things that you're supposed to do with social media, all that good stuff. And if you just like it, share it. That just helps us the most. So I will see you later, Carolyn.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.